talk about 4 factors of reproduction that gets influenced by nutrition. And we need an egg, we need sperm, we need that to form a healthy embryo, we need that to implant, and none of this is going to help if we're not ovulating, and that's why we've got the clinics. But I also want to empower you, because sometimes we can fall pregnant without the clinic, and sometimes you will eventually get to the clinic, but then we know that you're in such a better space in terms of your nutrition and your lifestyle. So I am here to support people who are trying to conceive naturally, and also with the assistance of the reproductive technologies. All right, so sorry for the ones that I'm standing in front of here. So in terms of optimizing your egg health, there's a lot of nutrition research that is being done. So I thought just to share a little bit about what is not good for our eggs. Okay, so what's really bad for egg health is oxidative stress. And oxidative stress basically causes a type of inflammation in your body, and that can then cause problems with the egg quality. So oxidative stress could come from things like not being at a healthy weight. It's also impacted by things like smoking and alcohol use. And then also something that's called AGEs, or advanced glycation end products. So these are toxic end products. They get formed when we cook our food at very high temperatures to brown them. So I work with clients and I teach them just different cooking methods. So not cooking at those very high temperatures, because they do actually cause those toxic end products. That's not good for egg health. Also, excessive sugar is not great for eggs. Okay, so maybe you like the chocolate, but your egg does not like the chocolate. So this would be excessive intake. Okay, so especially a lot of research showing that drinking a lot of sugar-sweetened beverages is not great for egg health. And then also excessive unhealthy fats. So that would be, the research is pointing towards saturated fat. That's not good for egg health, and also the trans fats that we should avoid completely. So those are usually fats that are used in baked goods, usually those hard brick margarines. So also when you're buying from somewhere like the home industries, you won't know what they've used, because the hard brick margarine leads to a product that has a longer shelf life. So you won't know what they've used. It's not as expensive as butter either. So another thing that we do when we work on your fertility is to fix any nutritional deficiencies that you might have. So I was chatting to my mom yesterday, and she said, I've got some plants in the garden and they're not flowering, and I thought of you. And it's like, why don't we think of fertility in this way? I've got my plants, they're not growing nicely, they're shorting something. Hey, or my plant is not flowering, it's shorting something. So we do a proper analysis to see, you know, do you maybe have some deficiencies? I must say the doctors are doing a great job of this as well. Usually when I do see a client, I maybe just request 1, maximum 2 additional tests just to check for deficiencies. And sometimes these deficiencies won't hold you back from becoming pregnant, but they may lead to complications in pregnancy. So one, for example, would be, we don't want you going into pregnancy having an iron deficiency anemia, because there's a time early in pregnancy that it's quite tricky to boost your iron. So we actually just want to optimize you as much as possible before falling pregnant. Okay, so what's good for egg health? These are really important. So first one is a diet that is really rich in antioxidants. So some people call it a high inflammatory, anti-inflammatory diet, or antioxidant diet. Some would coin it a Mediterranean style diet. It's not the way we as South Africans eat. So it's quite difficult to implement this into our different cultures here in South Africa. But when I work with clients, I just teach you how can you bring the Mediterranean style into your way of eating. We don't need perfection. We just need to be a bit better with what we do. Omega-3 is really important. Egg health really is boosted with omega-3, because omega-3 is so anti-inflammatory. Remember, we're working against that oxidative stress and just lifestyle causing a lot of inflammation in our body. So we want to counteract that with nutrition. Also, we want to have stable blood sugar levels and not high insulin levels. So that would refer to also the PCOS and the insulin resistance, and also people living with diabetes. And if we need to lose weight, the time to do it is before we fall pregnant. So, and also then importantly to fix those nutritional deficiencies. So you'll see, I've got a little clock here. Shame, sorry, we're always talking about the biological clock here, but this is not the biological clock. This is just the time frame to keep in mind when you're working on your egg health. So the oocyte, the egg, goes through its final stages of maturation in the last 3 months before ovulation. So you need to at least make sure those last 3 months before ovulation is the best. But the sooner you start, the better. So even if it's a year before you're going for, whether it's your IVF or you're just trying to fall pregnant, start, because it is going to make a big difference. So yeah, that's the clock. It's not the biological clock. And sure, and then sperm health. This is such an important aspect of fertility. And we don't just need the sperm to fall pregnant, we want to stay pregnant. And we don't just want to stay pregnant, we want to have a healthy future baby. And the sperm is really important for that also. And a bit of controversy about the DNA fragmentation, but there might be a role to play in miscarriages also if the DNA of the sperm is fragmenting. So we just want to optimize the sperm health as much as possible. It's easier to test the sperm, so also if the sperm comes back and we can see what's wrong with the parameters, whether it's the count or the motility or the shape, then there's a lot of research now to show what do we need to do in terms of diet, food, supplementation to support that. So, but the sperm does not do well under certain circumstances. For example, if there's undernutrition or if there's overnutrition. And also the trans fats and the saturated fats, very similar for ladies, but then definitely not the processed meats. There's strong evidence for that with the sperm health. So processed meats would be the salamis and the hams and the bacons, if that's excessive, or sausages, Russians. Like a lot of excessive consumption of that can be quite detrimental also then to the sperm health. And then also we need to, same as the women, fix any nutritional deficiencies that you might have. So for the sperm health, I must say there's quite a bit of supplements also on the market. We always try food first approach, because you don't actually just want to isolate one thing and only supplement that. But there are some instances where we might supplement, and then it's important to follow a tailored approach, because you might go grab something off the shelf that is a general product, which might mean for your condition you are not getting to therapeutic dosages, or maybe you're treating something, let's say you're taking something that's going to improve your sperm quality, but maybe you've got a problem with your sperm shape. So it's important to know that you are treating the right thing. So, it's got it's okay, then just restart. Let me check there and then I can see if I missed anything. Yeah, so at the bottom there I had the vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium and zinc. They're quite popular for the male fertility supplement. But also you don't always necessarily have to supplement these nutrients. They can be optimized in your diet also. Okay, we're back. Alright, then optimizing implantation. So this is more easily timed if you're then working with your clinic and you're going for either ovulation induction, artificial insemination, or IVF. So the time frame working on optimizing implantation is 6 to 12 weeks before the embryo is transferred. So you see that time frame is a little bit shorter, but don't feel like it's never too late. Alright, so I've worked with ladies also before, and they would say it's 1 week before my embryo transfer. We still try and we still optimize as much as we can. So first of all your medical conditions must be sorted out. So you can't optimize your health and your egg health, your sperm health, optimize implantation if you have a medical condition. So for example, if there are fibroids, your doctor's going to have to assist you with that and guide you and see if you need surgery. if there's endometriosis or adenomyosis, or if you're having celiac disease or any other autoimmune conditions that needs to get treated first, because all of those can affect your chances for implantation. So in terms of nutrition, we do see in the literature, if someone is living with obesity, it can impact their rates of implantation. So it's good to work with dietitians to lose a bit of weight. And when we say a bit of weight, even losing 5 to 10% of your body weight can have, it would be enough actually, could be enough. We want to reduce inflammation, so that would be that antioxidant rich diet that you need to follow. And then also to optimize the lining of the endometrium. So there are nutrients that will optimize the blood flow, and also lots of nutrients that can boost progesterone. So the research in that field is still growing. It's an emerging field of nutrition. There is not massive amounts of evidence, but it is ongoing, and it looks quite great. Okay, so I mean, and at the end of the day, you are boosting your health also. So it's whether it's going to help for this IVF cycle or the next one, you're working towards the plan. All right, and then looking at ovulation. So you know, if you are not ovulating, you can test for that. There are certain nutritional factors that can prevent ovulation or make it very irregular. Alcohol is definitely one of them. So if you are trying to conceive, we advise that you reduce your alcohol to minimal amounts. Also, any hormonal imbalances, so that would be things like PCOS and also the hypothyroidism. You work with your doctor also, and I work with my clients' doctors. We form a team. And then also, if you're having very petite build, very low fat percentage, prevent you maybe from ovulating, also if you've got a higher fat percentage. And then one of the doctors mentioned this earlier, it's a relative energy deficiency in sport. It's now called the red S. So that would be someone who's expending more energy than what they are consuming. So with those clients, we have to boost their nutritional intake quite a bit for them to be able to conceive, because they're expending much more than they are actually consuming, and then it can actually cause problems with their health, and they are not ovulating. So maybe you've heard about the Harvard Nurses Health Study. So it's a study where they've been following about 18,000 nurses, and the Harvard study has also been studying fertility. And they found that you can really improve your chances of ovulation by making lifestyle changes. And the more lifestyle changes you make, it actually builds on your fertility, so that you can actually boost your chances of ovulation in people who were not ovulating before by almost 70% by making 5 or more lifestyle changes. But this is just for ovulatory disorder infertility, where it can make that difference. So obviously, if you're suffering from a different type of infertility, then maybe it won't be quite the same. All right, and I think I touched on this a little bit in the beginning. This is my last slide. But once again, the first 1,000 days of life, there's so much research going into this, and we know this is a very important time. And like I said earlier, you don't just want to fall pregnant, you want to have a healthy pregnancy, you want to stay pregnant, and you want to have that healthy future baby. And the 1,000 days goes up to about 2 years of life. So that's just showing the importance of nutrition during that time. But now the research also showing that that time pre-conception is so important. So I want to encourage you to really work, you and your partner, really work on your health and your nutrition even before you conceive, because that can also cause changes in what we call epigenetics, and that is not just the gene sequence, but that is just how your genes will play out and sort of how it is responding to the environment. And even being pregnant, we encourage you to consult with a pregnancy dietitian also at least once during the pregnancy.